Alright, it's been a while since I've showed you where all the toys are right now. So I'm gonna give you a quick overview of all of that. Here is where the 74 and 84 are sitting. That is the cab for the 74. That's the hood. It's a setback axle 359 hood. And I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing with it yet. I was gonna cut it up. It is in bad shape, but I'm not jumping the gun on that. The transmission here, that's just going for scrap. The hood off the 84, it's a long hood. It's sitting here till we need it. The 318 out of the 74, I'm just going to throw a tarp over that and leave it for the winter. If anyone is local and looking for a 318, I'd gladly sell it. It ran. I'm not going to say runs, but it ran. It has jakes. The cab on the 84, it's pretty rough. I haven't robbed much for parts out of it, but in order for this to be put back on the road, it would need a pile of work. The same goes for the 74 cab. I like these. It has dual FAR air cleaners on here, which is really cool. I don't know that I've really seen dual FAR boxes on a truck before. And it needs a lot of love inside there. Here's the Cabover. Not much has happened to that other than oiling it. And I put different tires on it so I could roll it around. The other ones were flat. That still remains to be seen what happens with that. My 78 hasn't changed at all. I should be able to weld up the cab where I needed to replace those parts that had rotted out. So now that I can weld aluminum, I can get on that. But again, this won't... Not much is going to happen with this, and I'm glad now that I didn't really get into fixing it up, because I didn't know near as much back then as I know now about restoring these trucks. So I'll be able to do a much better job having done 2 of them now. Behind it is the 50th anniversary. That is a 1990 short hood 379. The anniversary year is 89, but the model year is 90. I'm not sure why they did that. It's probably going to be the next truck that will go on the road. It pretty much needs reskinned. The frame is still in really good shape because it is out of Florida. So full reskinning, re-insulate, redo the interior, all that neat and wonderful stuff. Convert it to a long hood, and it should be good to go. And then here is the frame for the 74. I have the front castings cut off. This is going for scrap as soon as we can. And the frame for the 84 is going for scrap. The transmission out of the 87, a whole bunch of stuff. But I kept these front castings off the setback axle because they are a different casting. And if anyone needs front castings for a setback axle, let me know. I have all 4 pieces. And then I kept the front casting out of the 84. It's sitting over there. That way I can build another rolling chassis for a 359 without needing to take one apart. So with the front casting, I can just build the whole chassis and then actually start the moving truck pieces over. So this is my 87. It's been on the road since March. That's when it got safetied. So it's worked really good. I just finished putting Michelin steers on because it had the cheap new steers that I bought it with. Ironhead or some brand. They were pretty awful. So I think I got 40,000 miles on them before they started wearing funny. So I switched to these Michelins. I've always had good luck with Michelin steers. So I'll talk about this air compressor going out on me. I was going through Thunder Bay, and I stopped at one of the lights, and I started hearing an awful bad idler noise. Just that real rusty, shrill, awful shriek. So I thought it was maybe an old car beside me or something, because there are no idlers on the front of this motor, and all of that accessory stuff was new. That's belt driven. So I swung in at the Petro, and I thought, well, it could be the alternator. So I went in and turned on my toaster oven, which just pegs the alternator, and it didn't change the noise at all. Turned the fan on, that didn't make any difference in the noise. Turned the AC on, and that didn't change how it sounded at all. So those are, on a mechanical cat here, those are the three accessories. Well, your fan, AC compressor, alternator. And none of that made a difference. So then I went back and drained the air out of my tanks, and it didn't make a difference in the noise. So I didn't know what to do. So I kept going, figured, well, if I can't diagnose it, I'll wait till it gets worse. I sprayed a bit of oil on my belts just to see if that would make it stop too. Didn't change it. So I made it out to Richer, parked there, looked at it again. I couldn't see anything. Got up the next morning, started the truck, and as soon as the governor on the air compressor kicked, the noise dropped to about a quarter of what it had been. So then I was pretty sure I needed a compressor. Drove to Peterbilt to Winnipeg, got there before they opened, and then I dropped the fan clutch here, dropped it down, and that way all my belts would stop. Fired it up, and it was still shrieking. So that left me with, I was pretty sure it wasn't the power steering pump. And well, at this point, when the unloader went off, it quieted down. So I went in there, said I need air compressor, and they didn't have one. This is a Bendix 501. Didn't have one, said the closest one they could get was in St. Paul's, Minnesota. But the guy helping me out said he would call a few shops in town and see if they had one, and sure enough, West Trans had one. So that was just down the street. Went down there, went inside, yep, they had it, got it, went out back, yanked this one off. Now, I carry as many tools with me as I think I'm going to need, and one of the nice things is that I keep some of them in the big Rubbermaid tubs. So I was able to take the Rubbermaid tub and put it in here and drain the coolant into that Rubbermaid tub so I didn't spill anything. And so they pressed the old gear off because it was really, it's a cone shaft, but it was really stuck. I think they had to heat it up to get it off. Ran it on with the impact, put all my fittings on, put everything back together, fired it up, sounded good. And it's worked good ever since. But I was really surprised that the bearings failing on the inside of the compressor could make such a shrieking noise, because the noise it was making didn't sound like it was an internal noise at all. It sounded like it was a pulley. It sounded just like a bad idler. But I'm glad they had a compressor. I'm glad I could put it on so quickly, and I only lost half a day over it. So